The next thing that we want to talk about in our game plan for success is to strive for unconscious competence. So, what in the world is unconscious competence and why are we talking about it and what does it have to do with poker? Well, it doesn't have to do specifically with poker, but it has to do with learning. So, the famous psychologist Maslow developed the 4 stages of learning. And the final stage in his 4 stages of learning, the mastery stage, is unconscious competence. So Maslow said that you went through 4 different stages when you're learning. The very beginning was unconscious incompetence, and then you moved to conscious incompetence, then to conscious competence, and then finally unconscious competence, where you achieve mastery in whatever you're learning. So let's talk about these different stages. Let's talk about what Maslow is talking about here. So unconscious incompetence, this is when you don't know that you don't know how to do something. So unconsciously you're incompetent and you're really not aware that you need to know how to do something. So you don't know that you don't know how to do something. It's just completely irrelevant to you. So maybe this is before you even start to even consider to play poker. You don't know anything about the game. You really don't care about it. And you're just incompetent, but it doesn't matter to you. Now, the second stage is conscious incompetent. This is when you know that you don't know how to do something. So maybe you go to a casino in Las Vegas and it looks enticing. Maybe you want to sit down and play poker, but when you walk over to the card room, you feel a bit fearful to play the game because you don't know how to play and you know that you don't know how to play. And so you get this timid and trepidation and you decide not to play because you know that you don't know how to play and it's in your mind consciously that you don't know how to play poker, and if you sit down at the table you're probably going to lose all your money. So that would be the second stage of learning that you don't know how to do something, and you probably need to go seek out some guidance to learn it. The third stage is conscious competence. This is when you know that you know how to do something, but it takes a lot of effort. So let's say that you decided, well, I want to learn this game after you went to the casino and you decided not to play because you were fearful you were going to lose your money. So you went to Amazon.com, you bought some books, and you read some basic poker books, maybe Doyle Brunson's books or Phil Hellmuth's books, one of the basic books, and you read those. And now you understand the basics, but the problem is that it takes a lot of effort for you to apply these concepts while you play. So you have to use your conscious effort to try to apply them while you play, and it's very difficult for you. You know that they're there in your brain, but in the amount of time that you have to make a decision, maybe 30 seconds to a minute, it's just very difficult for you to try to make the correct decision because you've only reached this stage where you have conscious competence. And then finally, over time, as you play more and as you study more, it all becomes natural to you. It becomes a lot easier for you to make these decisions, and subconsciously it just happens for you. You sit down at a table, you know what to do. You know how to play pre-flop, you know how to play post-flop, you know how to react to certain situations, and it's very simple for you to do, and you really don't even have to think about it a lot of the time. Well, this is the final stage that Maslow is talking about. That is the unconscious competence, when you know how to do something and it's second nature. And so we all go through these different stages, and this is what Maslow is talking about. A lot of people are somewhere between the point of conscious incompetence and conscious competence in a lot of areas in poker, where either they know something or they know that they don't know it and they need to improve it. And regardless, even if they do know it, it's hard for them to apply it. So a lot of people are stuck at that stage, and it really hinders their success. And the really successful poker players at all the different stakes, they have reached a point where they're either at the unconscious competence level or they're very close to it. They've gone from conscious competence and they're close to reaching unconscious competence. So maybe it's not second nature, but it doesn't take them too much effort to really apply it. It may take a little bit of effort in certain situations, but in other things, they have reached unconscious competence. So that's why we want to strive to reach that final stage. And when you're learning something in poker, that's why it takes time to absorb it. And that's why people say you learn by playing as well. Because it's one thing to take a class like this or read a book or join a poker forum and learn something. It's an entirely different other thing to take those concepts, to take those tactics and strategies and apply them at the table without any effort. So my goal for you is to strive for unconscious competence. It's going to take time with certain things, other things will be easier, but your goal should be to reach as close as possible unconscious competence in everything that you do at the table.